Hey guys, and welcome to the channel. My name is Itzik, and today is a special day. It's finally here, the Kove 450 Rally. I've been waiting for this bike for a long time, ever since I sold my 700. I have a ton of information about it, so I want to see if the hype is real, and if it is, I'm going to go back to the dealership and order me one. Another special event. I'm the first one in my country that ride this bike. So happy times. So I have a great video for you today. I'm going to mention a few key points on the bike, things that come specific with this bike. We'll do a test ride, and after that I will stop and talk about the bike, the pros and the cons, known issues that people all over the world encountered, and the workarounds for them. We'll talk about maintenance, aftermarket support, who's this bike for, and of course, should you buy an unknown Chinese brand bike. So it'll be a great video. Stick around, let's start. So the Kove 450 Rally is finally here. This is the street legal version of the bike. There's a few differences between this bike and one that was raced in the Dakar. We mention it later in the video. Let's talk about this thing. A 145 kilo bike that is without fuel. It has 3 fuel tanks, 2 at the front, here and here, that the fuel is coming down low, and 1 beneath the seat. Together they hold 31 liters of fuel that can give you about 500 kilometers of range, 500 and plus kilometers of range, and put the bike at a weight of around 167 kilos. If you don't need the full fuel, you can just fuel the front ones. The front ones holds 14 liters. It can give you something like 300 kilometers of range, and the center of gravity of the bike is down low because the fuel tank that is here, everything is down low. So this is great. The engine, single cylinder engine, Zhongshan model. This model is not new. This engine is installed in many Chinese bikes around the world, but for this model, it's tuned for better performance, and we will talk about maintenance later in the video. The engine is protected by a thin carbon fiber skid plate that protects 2 of 4 main points on the bike. Here on the left, there's a fuel tank behind a pump behind the left fuel tank. Here in the middle, behind this one, you have the oil cooler. So both these points are protected. 2 points that are not protected by this skid plate is this section of the pipe. This is the exhaust coming from here all the way. This area is not protected, and the linkage of the bike is not protected either. Now, we will talk about aftermarket support later in the video, but I can tell you right now that there is aftermarket support, different skid plates that protect the 4 points. Wheels, 18 and 21 tube tires. They come with a 50/50 Chinese brand tire that people say that they are okay. Rim locks are installed inside the bike, on the rim. Rim locks enables you to reduce the tire pressure to low PSI, so the tire will not move. So that's great. Other things, behind the seat, beneath the seat, if you want to remove the seat, you just pull this one, and the seat is going out. Now, this is the ECU. This is the computer that tells the engine how to manage the maps. In other words, it was reflashed to 1.4 version. This version enables throttle response and the engine they handle the engine in low revs. This is the new version. The battery is a lithium ion and not the acid, very small and very light. So if you have a battery tender or a charger, you need to see that it can charge its battery. And the air filter is the foam one, so it will breathe better under the seat, just like this. Okay, seat is down. Okay, the bike comes with two colors, the green, like you see here, and the red. And this specific model is the high version. There's a one that is 5 centimeters below this. I'm 185 centimeters in height, so I'm okay with it. Let's go on the bike and continue from there. Okay, as you can see, I'm 185 centimeters. My legs, both my legs are on the ground. When you open the key, it takes a couple of seconds for the monitor to boot, but you can power on the bike. Let's disconnect the ABS. If we press set, ABS mode, you press set again, you go down 2 times, close all, press set, and back, and you can see both wheels here in yellow. ABS is off. Okay, kill switch out, and we are turning the bike on. Okay, let's ride it. Sitting position is great, very comfortable. Moving shift is okay. Suspension is great. The dealership softened the suspension because it comes a little stiff from the factory. Very fast motorcycle. There's a lot of fun factor here. Going on, everybody complained that low rev speed is not good, but there's a lot of power here in low rev. I think maybe it's the version 1.4, but it's okay. I'm with 50/50 tires, so I'm very careful here. But this bike is very nimble. Can go on anything. just go around it. First gear is very strong. Second gear is fine. You can cruise at second gear. First gear is the power one. Suspension is great. You don't feel the little things, the little stones. As soon as you rev the bike a little bit, it comes alive. Yeah, this bike needs a little rev. The tires are not so bad. They are great. Sitting position is great. Very comfortable even for taller riders like me. Handlebar position, foot peg position are great. I really enjoy myself now. Moving between gears are great. 6-gear transmission. The dealership raised the gear lever a little bit, and the position is great. You need to get used to it, the location of it, but overall great. A little speed and this bike shines. You don't feel the rocks beneath you. The suspension is great. And it's so light, so nimble. This bike is great. I like it. Okay, let's talk about the 450 Rally. This is a fun bike. I had a lot of fun here riding it this past hour or something. Very capable machine, very light, very fun machine. Let's talk about the pros and the cons. The pros: light machine, 145 kilo bike, very nimble. You can maneuver it on obstacles. This is really kind of dirt bike feel to it. Very narrow, very light. You don't feel the center of gravity. It's very low. Very fast machine. Very fast. It has a mellow down low power, but it's there, and when you twist the throttle, the power is amazing. You go very fast. First gear is very powerful. If you twist the throttle, you're flying. What else? Fuel range, 31 liters. It's amazing. 31 liters is amazing. 500 kilometers plus range. You cannot beat that. I don't think any adventure bike has it. And you don't need to feel it all. You can feel the 14 liters and keep the bike weight low. So it's great ground clearance. The bike is not noisy, as people said. There's no much intake noise. The exhaust is okay. Not a loud bike. It's not as soft sound like an adventure bike, but it's still not a loud bike. It's okay. The 50/50 tires are okay. I would replace them if I'm going to do a serious off-road. Wind protection, non-existence. It protects your chest, but it's okay. I had on my T7 something like that. It doesn't really, for taller people, it doesn't really protect the wind from my face, but rocks and stuff on my body is okay. Fairing looks good. It's very easy to take care of. You have these screws here that you can disassemble all the front and the tanks. Very easy to do maintenance on it. We will talk about maintenance in a couple of minutes. This bike comes with a 51 rear sprocket. If you want more power, you can change it to 52 or 53 and reduce the high-end speed, but as is, great. I rode very fast. It's very balanced. You don't feel, you feel going fast, but the bike is not moving. The suspension is great. You don't feel the rocks at all, and the dealership did soften the suspension a little bit, but it's fully suspended. As you can customize it as you wish. ABS, I just turned it off. That's the pros, man. It's a great bike. The cons, well, it's very tall. It's a pro and a con. It's very tall, so they have two versions of the bike. The higher one like this, and the 5 centimeters other model. I'm 185 centimeters, and I need to turn, and the ground was not even, and even I was on my tippy toes at some point. But you don't feel the weight. It's very nimble. If you lean it, you don't feel the weight. So, but if you are, again, if you are beneath 180 centimeters, check the second lower one. Maintenance intervals. I think that it's as a con. Other people will say it's okay because it is a race bike. This has a warranty of 1 year, so in this period of warranty you need to do the following. First 500 kilometers oil change, second is at 1,000 kilometers, and then every 2,000 kilometers oil change. Not so bad. After the warranty is over, you can, as everybody does, you are not racing, so you can stretch it a little bit more. But this is the maintenance, and again, this engine is not new. It's used in a lot of Chinese bikes, so it's pretty much, people are riding this for 1.5 years now. Nobody has issues with the engine. We'll talk about non-issues in a second. Overall, very capable machine, very fun machine. The seat was okay. Don't have enough seat time to really tell you about it. And that's it for this one. Let's talk about non-issues. So, non-issues. People say that there's not enough low-end power, and to walk around this, you just need to replace the rear sprocket from the 49 that you have to 51 or 52, and it will give you more power, but it will reduce your overall power, overall speed. Sorry, something like 150 or something like this, if I'm not mistaken. So not so bad. Another thing, people are mentioning the venting of the fuel tanks and the boiling of the fuel itself. Let me explain. You you have on each tank you have the venting machine that goes with a pipe down here to the charcoal canister. This take the gases and put it in the air in a more filter manner. So people sometimes say is that you have overflow of gas going from the fuel tanks, and this can be solved very easy way. Don't fill the fuel tanks until the end. You need to leave something like 2 or 3 centimeters from the end of the fuel tanks, because the fuel is expanding when the bike is on, so it can spill the fuel. Another thing is fuel is boiling inside the right tank, and this is because the exhaust is coming from here down here, and this is very hot here, and at very hot days the fuel is boiling. It's actually boiling inside the tank. Now I don't know, I heard that there's a fix from Kove itself, but the fix itself was putting on the exhaust on the here I show you on this section of the exhaust. Here this is the exhaust. There's a heat shield here. I think I see a heat shield here, and people just wrap it with straps of heat shield, but I think there's a heat shield already here, so that's great. So they fixed it. By the way, another pro of this bike is that Kove is very they listen to the customers. The reflash of the version of the ECU to take care of throttle response and low rev handling. The heat shield that you see now, they are listening to the customer and improve the bike over the course of the past year and a half. So I think maybe the 25 model will be even better than this. Except of these known issues, there are known issues that people are reporting in the last year. So that's great. Okay, let's talk about who's this bike for. In my mind, okay, this is my opinion. This bike comes, if you have on one side the small dual sport that I came from, the WR250R and the DRZ 400, and if you have on the other side the 701, and after that the Tenere, this come right in the middle, okay, between the DRZ 400 and the 701. They all three of them weigh the same, around 145 kilos dry. If you look comparing to the DRZ, this is a more fuel. It's more powerful. Has 6-gear transmission. Have the fairings. So if you are going like me, like I was a year ago, coming from the WR and you want to upgrade, and the DRZ seems pretty much at the same spot of CRF 300, WR250R. This is the next step to upgrade. Now, last year when I wanted to move from this WR, this bike was not available, and I wanted to check the 701. 701 was more powerful. I didn't like the power, the snappy air of the power. It didn't have any fairings, and it vibrates like hell. This does not vibrate at all. I didn't feel anything. It was a smooth ride. So I didn't like the 701 and jumped to the next best thing, that was the Tenere 700. That the engine was amazing bike, but the weight, 200 kilos, was too much for me. Now this is perfect. This is designed to go very fast on the road, very stable, very nimble, you feel great on the road in high speeds, and it's very capable off-road. So if you want something that can bring you to the off-road section and back home, or maybe to go to work, very comfortable, very capable machine, and you have a fuel range that none of this machine, the 701 or the DSN have. Say 1 liter of fuel, 500 kilometers, around 500 kilometers. This is insane. Now I saw people ride more than 10,000 kilometers around the world, people that already passed the 10,000 kilometers. None of them reported any bike issues except the issues I told you, and as you can see, there's already fixes on it. Let's talk about aftermarket support. Aftermarket support is great, is amazing. Companies all over the world started to make parts for this bike because they saw a potential, because they saw that people love this bike and buying this bike. Camel ADV has two products. We mentioned the skid plate. Skid plate has Camel ADV that made an aluminum one. Two other companies that I can't remember the names do aluminum. XP Racing adjusting the final product, manufacturing of another something like tin, not aluminum, that cover the 2 points I mentioned that this one does not. You have protection parts, you have anchor wang side that have multiple parts for this bike, from a fuel pump to any part of the motorcycle you can buy online. So as you can see, people starting to believe in this bike. Companies believe in this bike, made parts for this bike. People are starting to buy it. So around the world, people really believe in this bike. I cannot blame them. This is very fun machine. It sits right in the middle of a niche that there was not a bike there. Between the small dual sport and the large light adventure bikes, but in the middle, that weight low with great on-road performance and amazing off-road performance. Because I saw a lot of YouTube videos, people do crazy stuff off-road and also ride long trips on the road. You can also replace the seat, so you will be more comfortable. Okay, let's talk about, should you buy an unknown Chinese brand motorcycle? Well, this question was valid a year and a half ago, when the US started to get this bike, and people started to check this bike. They even had they didn't know what is it. They thought it was a dirt bike, and didn't know. They had a couple of issues. Didn't know how to really test this bike as a dirt bike, as a dual sport. In the year and a half that this bike is out, they tested, found issues. Kove fixed it. People around the world started to buy them. US, they have the 50 street legal bike now. Europe has this bike. A lot of companies started to believe in this product and made aftermarket support for it. And it's finally here also. I just found out that my garage, my mechanic, that was a Yamaha dealership, just started to is a service point for Kove. So I can take care of this bike with people that I trust. So service points, parts, no mechanical issues except the small things that you already see that Kove is handling, like the ECU and the heat shield. Really perfect bike. This bike, as you can see, come with great tires. You can replace the tire. It doesn't come with handguards, but what bike does. The only thing that you have to do is replace the skid plate with something more strong, put handguards, maybe tires, and that's it. The bike is already off-road ready. I can tell you now, I'm going back to the dealership and order me one, because this bike is great. This bike is confidence inspiring. Like everybody says, you feel confidence riding it. It's fun machine. And it's all about fun, you know, when you ride a motorcycle. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was fun for you to watch, as it was fun for me to make. If you want more content about the Kove rally, please consider subscribing to the channel. I will be posting a lot of more content about it, and hope to see you in the next video. Bye for now.